Muammar al-Gaddafi was described by his father as a man who was always serious, reserved, or uncommunicative in speech, and usually saying very little. If we grant that the father knew his son, then we may ask how a son of very few words succeeded in commanding so much attention and power. At the peak of his power, Gaddafi was unavoidable. Perhaps what he lacked in words was expressed in the mixed bag of schemes he masterminded, as well as all the good he did for the Libyan people. The man was what he did not say, but showed. And one of the things he showed was a thing that made him the one to see on the international scene, was his team of exceptionally trained female guards, dramatically known as the Revolutionary Nuns. They were also known in Europe as Amazones and in North Africa as Haris al-Has. Formed in the 1980s, the nuns were an elite group of female bodyguards whose sole devotion was to Gaddafi, both home and abroad. Western media assumed to themselves the right to call these women the Amazonian Guard. In previous years, the East German secret services used to protect Gaddafi. Most of his bodyguards were from Bulgaria, Germany, and Poland. Gaddafi's nuns wore stone-faced looks behind action-themed sunglasses. They were dressed in military apparel and yet still looked very good. Even for the most open-minded, presidential staffs of special forces composed of only women was strange and a bit far-fetched. And even though the nuns were an appendage of the Gaddafi brand, few knew how they came to be. The team was started in the 1980s, a little over a decade after Gaddafi had seized power in a coup. The main task of the Revolutionary Guard was to protect Gaddafi 24 hours a day. They also had other duties, such as entertaining him, reading him chapters from the Green Book, and keeping the house tidy. Muammar Gaddafi personally chose all the women of the Revolutionary Nuns. They had to be around 20 years old, not married, beautiful, and still a virgin. They also had to take a vow of chastity before starting the official training. The Revolutionary Nuns training consisted of martial arts and extensive firearms courses. Most of their training took place in the Women's Police Academy in Tripoli. After the selection, they swore an oath of protecting him at all costs, also with their lives. During Gaddafi's leadership, around 400 women became revolutionary nuns. When Gaddafi was traveling, he always had with him at least 15 revolutionary nuns. Their tasks consisted of either security or housekeeping. The first international appearance of the revolutionary nuns was in 1981 in Syria. During that trip, Gaddafi was meeting Hafez al-Assad, the then Syrian president. There are various theories as to why he chose a team of women to guard him. Former U.S. naval officer Joseph Stanek, however, wrote in 2003 that Gaddafi felt women would be too difficult for imperialist and Arab separatist gunmen to kill. However, this theory of women's lives as prohibitive ethics for warring men was put to test in 1998. Gaddafi's convoy was ambushed by Islamic fundamentalists and one of the nuns was killed, with another 7 being injured. The story is told that the guard Aisha threw himself to save Gaddafi's life. Writing for digitaljournal.org in 2007, Samantha Torrance explained how the women were brought up. The Amazonian Guard are put through rigorous training at a special academy, and if they make it through the basic training ordeal, they become experts with firearms and martial arts, making them trained killers. The women who qualify for duty are required to be virgins and must be handpicked by Gaddafi himself. In 1975, Gaddafi wrote the Green Book, which was a short book containing his political philosophy. During his leadership, teachers used his books in schools, and his codes were all over Libya. One of the chapters was about women and their role in society. Gaddafi wrote that men and women were born equal, but there are natural differences between them. Consequently, they have different and precise functions in everyday life. The Libyan leader also added that women have the right to work, but the work cannot affect their beauty and has to be suitable for women and not men. Despite what he wrote in the Green Book, the Libyan leader was firmly convinced that women should be trained for combat so that they do not become easy prey for their enemies. He stated that having female bodyguards was a step towards female emancipation. During Gaddafi's rule, women had access to schools and universities. They were also able to join the police force or become doctors, nurses, or engineers. Under King Idris, his predecessor, around 15% of the female population attended primary school. When Gaddafi took power in 1969, education became compulsory until 9 years old, and the level of female literacy became the highest in the region. In 1990, 48% of the female population attended primary school, and in 1996, 43% attended secondary school. After Gaddafi's fall in 2011, the fate of the revolutionary nuns were shrouded in controversy, with many reports of tragic outcomes. Today, many of their individual stories remain unknown, lost amidst the broader turmoil of post-Gaddafi Libya, with few public efforts to investigate or document their lives after the regime's fall.